Hi, in this video I'd like to talk about the 1999 New York Knicks. I remember that team vividly, and to go through the whole shortened season and to lose in the finals after all that turmoil was a huge disappointment. It hurt like crazy since I'm a die-hard Knicks fan and the Knicks were not at full strength in the finals against the Spurs. In the beginning of that season, the fans were super happy and disappointed at the same time after the front office moves that made the Knicks younger and more athletic at several positions, yet cost the fans two of their favorite players. The unfortunate truth about the team, which no one really looked at, was that they did not address their main problem, which was their point guard position. The addition of Latrell Sprewell was a huge factor for the Knicks going so far into 1999 playoffs.
Well, I hope it'll be a positive one. I understand that Starks has really been a part of the Knicks organization for eight or 9 years, however long it's been. But we just have to move forward now. I think that the main goal for this organization is to win. I think they made a decision because they think that it's going to help the team, and I'm here to do that. We just want to win.
The trade that brought him to New York was a huge gamble. Fans were excited and hurt at the same time. The trade was a 3-for-1, in which the Knicks gave up Terry Cummings, Chris Mills, and this is the reason this was so bitter: John Starks. Starks was one of the players which was considered the heart of the franchise. He was very close friends with Patrick Ewing and always gave his all playing for the team. He embodied New York and its toughness, and was proud to be a Knick and always let people know that. Right before the lockout season started, the Knicks had an informal team workout at Sonny Purchase. After the workout, which was already dripping with rumors that John Starks is going to be traded for Sprewell, Ewing was walking out of the gym and, as many times before, said to the reporters, "Not today." He walked a few more steps and stopped. He knew what was about to happen and knew he had to say something. Ewing stopped, turned around, and talked to the press. He said this, and this is a quote: "John is my friend. We've been together a long time. Naturally, I don't want to see him go." Starks was at that workout and wearing a Knicks shirt, even though he knew about the rumors of him going to Golden State. He still believed he will stay with the team. Soon, Starks was gone, and we received a player who was coming off a very long suspension for trying to choke his coach PJ Carlesimo. There was so much uncertainty about Spree. Everyone was concerned if Spree was worth anything at that time because no one knew what state of mind he would be coming back to the league in. Fortunately, the gamble paid off, and Spree knew exactly that the huge stage of New York was his major chance to regain his value, restore his tarnished image, and become a star again. The Knicks were very careful with him, and for most of the season played him off the bench. It was working out well, and Spree wasn't complaining. Soon the fans warmed up to Sprewell, and the bitterness from Starks leaving started to disappear. Another tough loss of a player dear to the fans was a trade of Charles Oakley. That move made the team younger as well by the Knicks getting Marcus Camby in the trade. Oakley was with Knicks for 10 seasons. He bled New York orange and blue like Starks did. This was tough for many to lose two players who always gave their all for the team on the court. At the time, there was an article about the Knicks' anonymous teammate of Oakley who said, "I'm shocked the team would trade Oak." The night Oak was traded, David Checketts, who was the Madison Square Garden president at the time, told his wife about the trade after getting home. His wife's response was this: "You traded Oak? What, are you crazy? He was New York. He was the Knicks. You can't do that." That summed up every fan's thoughts at the time. The guy we got, Marcus Camby, was a young, athletic, versatile power forward / center. He was 23 years old at the time and came in with all the promise after 2 years in Toronto, where he played around 38 minutes a game and averaged 14.8 for one season and 12 points per game respectively for the other one. That season was tough and cramped together. Larry Johnson was utilized a lot by the Knicks at the small forward, alternating with power forward, which didn't really let him settle into a normal role. He got moved to small forward for some time while Sprewell was injured. Larry had a nagging knee tendonitis throughout the season, even though he came into camp lighter and in better shape than any other year in his career. Larry was tough as hell, and this is one of his quotes from that season after being asked about the knee. "I know what I can do, and I know what I can't do. If it gets better, then you try to block it out of your head. But right now, bending down, I know I can feel it. If I'm hurting the team with my play, then maybe I have to sit out a game. If I think I can be effective, knowing what I can do and can't do, I'll keep going at it." Larry would never do anything to have a negative impact on the team and always gave his all when he played. He averaged 12 points per game for that season and shot 36% from three as well while playing 33 minutes per game. When the season started on February 5th in 1999, the Knicks started well. They did lose their first two games against Miami and Orlando, but won the next 8 out of 9. Their record after 14 games was 11-3. That's pretty good if you ask me, and the Knicks played great defense to do it. Having Ewing, Johnson, Camby, and Kurt Thomas, they were tough inside. The offense for the team was the real problem. It was many times erratic, inconsistent, and sometimes anemic. Patrick Ewing missed 12 games because of ribs and Achilles injuries. He was still one of the best centers in the league, but this was his 14th season. Sprewell was another player that missed games due to injury, and because of that, he never got into the starting lineup and really developed a rhythm on the floor. The Knicks entered April with a record of 17-14 and were 7th in the East. They were still very inconsistent at this stage. It is hard to develop any sort of consistency with many main players missing games or being slowed down by injuries. By losing two main players from their rotation, Oakley and Starks, everyone knew it would take some time for the team to gel and develop chemistry, and the injuries slowed that process down even more. There were a lot of regular season issues plaguing the Knicks, and the culmination of it all came when the Knicks lost to the 76ers by a score of 72-67. Yep, that's the score of an NBA game, and the Knicks, with all those scoring options of Ewing, Johnson, Spree, Houston, and Camby, managed only 67 points. The Knicks were in the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. Jeff Van Gundy made a statement at that time and said this: "We were really struggling. We had to fight hard to not become a divided team. There was no foundational relationship to carry us through that difficult start. We were trying to find a rotation that worked, and we were crowded positionally. The one thing I never had to worry about was our practice habits. We had tough guys." Van Gundy pointed to a game against Miami Heat on April 25th as the turning point for the season. Johnson scored 23 points on 10 of 13 shooting in that game, and the Knicks overcame a 16-point deficit to win that game and stay above 500. Sprewell was still not a starter at this point in the season, and when Van Gundy was asked about him, he said, if Spree was asked what he thought about not starting, he never gave a politically correct answer. Like, all I want to do is win, he said. But it never impacted his energy or his passion. I loved his honesty, him accepting or at least putting up with not being a starter was absolutely critical to us finally getting it together. Close to the end of the season, the Knicks were still unsure of making the playoffs. So far, they have not met their expectations, and there were rumors swirling that if the Knicks would not make the playoffs, Jeff Van Gundy, the Knicks coach, would lose his job. Before the season ended, the Knicks fired the general manager Ernie Grunfeld instead and allowed Jeff to lead the Knicks into the playoffs. For all of their efforts and all the issues they had to deal with during that regular season, the Knicks got rewarded with a first-round matchup with the Miami Heat, which was ranked number 1 in the Eastern Conference. This was happening after a huge brawl in '97 when P.J. Brown threw Charlie Ward and the team cleared their benches, and another one in '98 after a brawl between Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning. Those 2 series went the distance, and the '99 series wasn't about to disappoint. Thanks for watching the first part of the 2-part series, and I invite you to watch the second. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this coming soon. Thank you.